Hello, everyone, and welcome to Week 4 of the PGP, the TBL's rendition of it. This week, we are taking on the PCL, which is a league that I actually have a lot of familiarity with. I participated in the past season and enjoyed immensely my time there. Didn't do as well as I wanted to, but that just goes to show you how good some of the coaches are. So, anyway, TBL is in dire need of some wins here. We are struggling to finalize them, but we've gotten closer every single week. And this week is a bit of a unique week. We had two matches that I do not have videos for. One because a coach forgot to record the video, and the other because there was a forfeit. So we'll start off with the forfeit. We do get the forfeit win. Manbird picking that up without too much of an effort. I have no idea what the differential goes as, but I'm just going to list it as a 3-0, which is pretty standard on the layout. So you guys are going to get a chance to see that. And moving on from there, we're going to jump into the first battle, which will be Colin's battle this week. We only have 5 to show, so I figured I'm not going to speed them up. It actually ends up being about the same amount of time as my sped up 7 videos to do 5 videos that are, or 5 battles that are just at normal speed. So we're just going to watch them through. There's no really long ones. There's a couple that are on the longer side, but none like crazy long this week. So I figured that's probably just a pretty good system to do. And we can go from there. So we're going to see Colin is going to lead off with his Victini as his opponent predicts that and leads off with the Primarina. A very, very good counter lead from his opponent. And Colin, though, has the great counterplay and goes into his Raichu, which does have to eat a Moonblast. But Raichu's pretty specially defensive and doesn't have too much of an issue taking... Just kidding, I lied. I've totally watched these battles. Raichu goes straight down immediately. And so Primarina proves that it's either like Specs or just it's Primarina, and that's how Primarina does. I think it's Specs because of that damage. He knows that. He goes back into his Victini here and is going to be able to scare out the Primarina. Going for a Bolt Strike just in case he isn't Specs and is some sort of crazy boosting like Pixie Plate and does want to go for a Scald. So does not try to predict anything. Just go straight for a Bolt Strike as his opponent does pull the switch into a defensive Rotom Heat, which is a pretty good Victini check, honestly. Takes about 25% from the Bolt Strike. I know Bolt Strike's non-stab, so it's not like it's the be-all, end-all, craziest thing in the world that didn't take that much. But out comes the Mold Breaker Haxorus and Rotom. You can see Colin's opponent is playing he's just playing the game. I don't even know what hidden power that was. Not very effective on this. Probably very effective on the Victini. So probably HP Water would be my best guess for something Rotom would want to run. Although I would probably have gone with something like Ground, knowing he has a Raikou, knowing he has a Victini, things that can switch into a Rotom Heat, Overheat. So maybe, I'm not sure what the play there was, but Haxorus is in, and it goes for a Dragon Dance. That is what Haxorus does. We see Tyranitar, which is another pretty good Dragon Dancer, but it ain't Haxorus. Haxorus was in here first, which means it gets its Dragon Dance off first, and his opponent is like, whoops, I don't want my Tyranitar in here right now. I just wanted the Sand Chip. Goes out into his Crobat, as the Haxorus does go for the Earthquake, so a great prediction by his opponent. But we do see that the Haxorus does outspeed the Crobat by being hit by the Sandstorm first, and so Haxorus is going to be able to click Earthquake again. Predicting a switch out doesn't come. His opponent is going for the Brave Bird now, as the Sand plus the Brave Bird and everything is slowly wearing this Haxorus down. And his opponent is going to be able to not get 6-0'd for sure. There's no way he gets 6-0'd at this point. As the Haxorus decides, I'm just going to lock myself into Outrage, and I'm going to take this thing out. I'm at least going to pick up 1 kill with the Haxorus. Rocky Helmet pops on the Crobat, meaning that he does not even get a real chance to get a lot of kills. At this point, the Primarina is completely safe and free and can revenge the Haxorus after 1 kill only, which is probably why he went for the Earthquake and didn't want to lock himself into Outrage. He didn't have the Dragon Claw. As his opponent goes for the Hyper Voice, and we do see that the Hyper Voice is not very effective, so it is Liquid Voice Primarina, which is something to keep in mind. I don't know if it matters too much in the long term, but Liquid Voice Primarina allowing that Hyper Voice to be a Water-type move. Honestly, I personally think that ability, it doesn't boost like the 8 abilities, it just gives the Water-type designation to it. And so I don't actually think it's that great of an ability, having used Primarina. I've used it a couple of weeks. I mean, there are times where Hyper Voice going through a substitute or something can be way better than Scald, but primarily you're going to end up just clicking Scald and wanting to click Scald. And if you really want a strong Water Stab, just click Hydro Pump, which is stronger than Hyper Voice would be anyway. The only benefit Hyper Voice has is that it goes through those substitutes. Anyway, we do see the Tyranitar come in and Mega Evolve at this point, as the Victini is going to be able to take out the Primarina with a Bolt Strike. So his opponent thinking that he might over-predict at this point. But we actually see the Victini popping off a Z move at this point. And it is going to be Fightinium Z Victini, which is insanely good prep on Colin's part, on TBL's part. I'm not 100% sure if it's Brick Break or if it's Final Gambit or what the actual base move is, but we do see it do about 100% or so to this Tyranitar. Nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary, just 100% to a Mega Tyranitar in one hit. As the Fightinium Z pops and Colin puts himself back in the driver's seat, Victini continuously threatening his opponent's team. Now knowing that's not Scarfed, feeling safe to go into the Virizion and pop off his own Z move, his opponent activates this this Virizion Z move, so we're seeing back-to-back Z moves here. And it is going to be Rockium Z, Continental Crush, Virizion, and this Victini not going to appreciate that. We are seeing some huge moves. I mean, it's basically Gigantamaxing, but in Gen 7, let's be honest. As the Victini is going to drop at this point, and the Virizion is going to get buffeted by the Sandstorm, but Victini picking up a couple of kills, putting this game back towards even, and the Mega Lopunny is now free to come out now that there are some threats gone. And the Virizion is proven to be not Scarfed. Obviously, it is Rockium Z, so he is going to have to switch out into his Kyurem Black, trying to take a hit from this Mega Lopunny, probably predicting an Ice Punch or something into the Virizion. However, we do know that Kyurem Black is probably going to be Scarfed by the way he was aggressively going to switch this in. Fake Out's going to come out here. It's not going to do a ton, about 20%, plus Sand is about 25%. As the Kyurem does get hit by the Sand first, so it is clear that the Kyurem is faster than the Mega Lopunny. As his opponent does double back out into the Virizion at this point, and the Lopunny does not get afraid and just goes straight for a high jump kick and actually just takes out the Virizion. So Colin making the bold read that his opponent didn't want to risk Ice Beam not killing or something, and did just double out into his Virizion, killing that thing with the high jump kick. As the Rotom is forced to come in here, and it does go for the Protect at this point to try to bait out that high jump kick and get 50% onto the Mega Lopunny, which it actually successfully is able to do. Mega Lopunny is now, the Sandstorm's gone though, not taking any chip damage in the background. There's no rocks up on the field, so he's up. Colin's up 3-2, and the Mega Lopunny does still have health, although it does not outspeed the Kyurem. It is going to still be something that he chooses to preserve. Fake Out is not something to ignore. As the Armaldo comes in and takes about 45% from a Thunderbolt, and is going to be able to, I don't even know. What the Rotom also doesn't know and goes for the Protect. So Rotom's going to scout out what this Armaldo is going to do, which is the Stone Edge, which hits both of his two remaining Pokemon. So unfortunately, for his opponent, he has no great switch in here to this Armaldo, but he does outspeed, and he does have one big Overheat to fire off before he goes down, and it actually takes out the Armaldo. So Armaldo is going to drop to the Rotom Heat at this point, and the Fat Greninja, the Seismitoad, is going to come in. Something he's been preserving in the back healthy. Rotom is at -2 special attack, so he's going to switch that out. Try to use it again later. Maybe it was HP Grass, and this is what he was predicting to come in from the Victini. I'm not sure. But this Seismitoad is going to set up a very late game Stealth Rocks. Who knew that that was going to be the play? Honestly, I should probably watch these battles before recording, but I think it's more interesting if I'm watching them with you guys on some level and trying to analyze the plays to the best of my ability. Low Kick comes out, and that drops the Kyurem. And that thing was going to potentially sweep since the Lopunny does not have that much HP left, and the Rotom is still incredibly healthy. That Kyurem was definitely a big threat, but the Seismitoad able to take that out. Goes for the Poison Jab at this point, and is going to do just a little bit to the Rotom, and it does show that it is probably Hidden Power Grass at this point, and that drops the Seismitoad. So it's Rotom versus the Lopunny, and we know Rotom has Protect, so is he going to click High Jump Kick in the face of that Protect? I mean, Fake Out is 100% free. If his opponent burns his Protect in the Fake Out, fine. You don't have to stress about that at all. And if he doesn't go for the Protect, then he's going to take Fake Out damage, and you're just going to get free chip. So that's what he chooses to do. He goes for the Fake Out into the Rotom, which chooses not to Protect, so you know it's probably going to have to use Protect on the following turn. There's the Protect. Colin reading that protect, clicks return instead of high jump kick. His opponent at this point knows that's the writing on the wall, unless he can get a number of protects to survive a return and force a high jump kick, and then hit the high protect on the high jump kick. Actually does hit the double protect at this point, but return is still going to take out the Rotom from that range, so he's going to keep clicking it as long as he can, so he does not have to click high jump kick, risk the miss, risk the protect, you know, and so Rotom is now going to be not trying for the triple protect, and knowing that, he goes for the high jump kick and does take out the Rotom. Colin picking up win number 1, technically 2, for the TBL this week. Next. So I lied. We are going to be speeding up the rest of these battles after the first one. The first one actually I thought was a pretty good representation of interesting content. Very, very quick. Some of these get more stally than I had realized. I recorded these earlier. I didn't pay a ton of attention, but none of them were a ton of turns. But those turns can be a little bit overwhelmingly stally. So here we are with Insanities game. Sorry to put a little bit of a disclaimer there, but the rest of these battles will be sped up after that first one. And just a reminder, once again, we are only going to be showing 5 battles. We had the forfeit win for Manbird starting us off 1-0, and I could not get access to betas, so I'll talk about that at the end, and what the record there was and all that. But as it stands, we will be showing you guys 5 battles. This one's Insanities, and the reason that I am speeding up is this, not necessarily sequence immediately, but over the course of the next however long this takes, this is the sequence that has caused me to feel like I want to speed up this battle. This battle in particular just has 6-6 for quite some time, and not a lot is going on in the middle here. There's a lot of substitutes and a lot of like Pokemon being worn down to about 50%, but Pokemon just refusing to die. You see that the Lopunny lives, the Rotom's still alive, gets the Pain Split off right there on the Ferrothorn, which is able to go for the Leech Seed. It's still got leftovers. It can't leech. It's got Protect, we've seen. It has a Substitute, I think we've seen already so far this game. I know it's going very, very quickly. So, right now it's the two players feeling each other out, kind of gaining an advantage, trying to see who's going to break through first. Again, it is still 6-6 at this point, as the Darmanitan comes in and is going to be trying to break through this Ferrothorn, but you see the leftovers and the bird negating each other. There's the Protect, there's the Substitute, as the Roserade comes in and switches out into the Crocodile, which takes a Gyro Ball, which it takes quite well, and it Earthquakes to break the Substitute, but then the Leech Seed comes out, and now we see Leech Seed, Protect, and leftovers. I know he's burned, but that's still going to keep on healing him over the course of the game, and this Crocodile will not be able to break through, and you can see how much HP he's gaining back every time that he protects, and has these leftovers and negating the burn, and the Leech Seed coming back and doing that 2 turns in a row. So the Crocodile is going to switch out, and it's going to go into the Darmanitan, but this is why I sped it up. This particular sequence right here, this Ferrothorn alone, was enough to justify speeding up the rest of these battles to me. It just is such a nuisance to break. It's such a difficult mon to just kind of sit there and watch the whole time. Maybe when you're fighting it, you're like, all right, this is annoying, but at least I know what I'm doing and I'm participating actively. But when you're watching it, it's a lot. So I decided I was going to speed that up and just allow you guys to see what happens later. But right here, we do see him go for the Heavy Slam into the Crocodile, read the Ferrothorn coming in on the following Heavy Slam, and go for a Fire Blast, killing that Ferrothorn, which is a huge deal for the rest of this game, as it means Insanity does not have to deal with that Ferrothorn anymore. The rest of his mons are free to do what they want to do and not have to worry about that Leech Seed and Protect shenanigans. He does go for another Fire Blast into the Crocodile, which Dragon Tails away the Celesteela here, and eats its big old berry. So now it's back to pretty full health, but we do see some mons are starting to die, and the battle is starting to pick up a little bit. It is 5-5 right now. As the Roserade, we see Giga Drain do a lot of damage to Mew here, which goes immediately for a soft-boiled. And so, again, Florges, Mew, Ferrothorn, all with recovery, all with, like, some stall. But we do see Insanity starting to break them down, starting to chip away at these mons, and knocking off the Roserade is okay, since the Yachi Berry doesn't seem like it's going to be doing all that much anyway, as the Roserade does die to the Leech Life, but does a lot of damage to Mew. As the Latios, the Mega Latios comes in here, Mew goes for the Leech Life, which does about 50%, brings the Mew back to about 80, or like 75% here. and the Latios proves to be physical Mega Latios, goes straight for the Outrage and immediately takes out the Mew, which is absolutely fantastic for Insanity. That is Amon. I mean, he has now killed the Ferrothorn, Fortress, and the Mew, all very important threats to be taken care of. He may be behind, I believe, at this moment in time, or it's close, but you're going to see that he is just, he has the ability now to finish out the game. Yeah, it was 3-3 right there. The low punny is going to come out, and this is going to bring in the Rotom here, which is just going to die to a high jump kick from that low punny, since Scrappy allows it to hit the Ghost-type Rotom, but it's going to die to the Rocky Helmet that the Rotom has, which means that they both go down. That trade is something you are 100% willing to make if you are the Rotom player, and we do see the Noivern come in on Stealth Rocks, and that is going to take it out. The Darmanitan comes in, lives the Stealth Rock damage, but the Noivern does not, and that is going to knock that out. And Insanity is going to pick up the win, making the TBL with that forfeit win at the beginning 3-0 so far. We're going to jump into Playmakers game at this point in our 4th game of the series. Now, we just need 1 win out of 4 games in order to take this one. We've been up 3-1 before, though, and managed to lose last week, so certainly not something I'm looking forward to. If that is the way it goes down. I, again, did not participate this week. I just I was away and doing things and moving, and this was the week of the move, so I really appreciate these guys for stepping up and playing the battles and doing what they need to do without me participating in this particular week. I should be participating in the other weeks of the season, though, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Anyway, we do see this first turn, the Mega Scizor leading against the Ninetales, and not able to set up an Aurora Veil, as the Zeraora is going to just tank that Earthquake from a Registeel, and then immediately Fightinium Z. So this is our second Fightinium Z of the day. Keep count, we are doing a Fightinium Z tracker, just so you guys are aware. We're not doing that, but I just want to make you guys aware of the fact that, like, for some reason this week there was a surprising number of Pokemon that were going to get hit really hard with the Fightinium Z. Anyway, Murkrow is going to be able to Toxic as the Umbreon comes in. The Gallade Mega evolves, Ice Punches the Umbreon, predicting a switch as it goes for a foul play. Then the Gallade goes for the close combat with the Umbreon a little bit weakened, eats its Chople Berry, or it's not even weakened, it's just full health anyway, but eats its Chople Berry, doesn't even do half, and then the foul play is going to be what allows this Umbreon to take out the Mega Gallade. -1 defenses didn't matter from the range it was at. It had already taken the 1 foul play it could take. After that, it can't take any more foul plays. So the Diggersby is going to come in at this point, and the Togekiss is going to be trying to flinch it out, but unsuccessful this particular week. As we saw last week, that Togekiss did a lot of flinching. Diggersby does get the kill, but dies to the Mega Scizor, and Murkrow proves to be just an absolute nuisance. However, Magic Bounce Espeon is going to stop Murkrow from doing anything too shady at this point, and is going to be able to just calm mind and start proceeding to kill everything. And this is where the Mega Scizor, after the Espeon gets 3 kills, and I was just enjoying watching that Espeon get 3 kills, I'm going to be honest, is going to be going down to the Greninja. The Dark Pulse is not going to be able to take out this Umbreon, though, and Umbreon is going to be able to make sure it survives. This Greninja is clearly Specs, or some sort of boosting item, or choice item at least, as the Umbreon is going to be able to click Foul Play and whittle down this Greninja until the point where it goes down. And it was not able to get the necessary flinches, as we will see here, in order to fully take out this Umbreon, which immediately foul plays and is going to finish out this game. That is the 4th win for the TBL, our first overall league win of the season. So we pick up first 4 wins. Can we be the first team to go 7-0? No team has done it yet this season, so we're 4-0 right now, and I guess at this point it doesn't really matter. I will reveal that Beta, the game that we're not showcasing, did actually win his match. We just don't have access to the video, so that makes us 5-0, and we are going to see how Alec does here with his Rain team this week. Now, again, the TBL is looking for some wins because we are going to be pushing for the playoffs soon, and if we don't get some wins now, we are going to be struggling. So this will be our first overall series win, and we're looking to get some more in the future. You guys are going to watch in Week 5 as we continue taking on some teams. We have 7 weeks of the regular season, so more than half the season is still to come, or sort of, I guess, if you include the one that you're currently watching, more than half the season is still to come. So certainly not eliminated by any stretch of the imagination, but definitely not the start we were hoping for. But Coco, first turn, Hurricane. Obviously it lands because it's raining, but Confusion is not what you want. Does break through, does hit the Scizor with that Volt Switch, get out of there into the Swampert. Gothitelle cannot trap that Tangrowth. It was Shed Shell Tangrowth specifically to not get trapped by Gothitelle. Wild. So that thing gets away from the Gothitelle, and the Scizor is going to take an HP Fire in the rain, and the Gothitelle is going to die to the Tornadus. However, the Mega Scizor is going to drop to the Kingdra, which we see here actually goes for a Surf in the rain boosted Surf from a Kingdra, and we see this Swampert. It's not going to appreciate that, but it does live and fire off a big Earthquake here, and this is one of the turning points in this battle, in my opinion, is that Swampert surviving that Surf, clearly being EV to do so. Running Surf instead of Hydro Pump there, definitely coming back and proving to be the wrong choice, assuming he landed the Hydro Pump in that case, as the Pelipper is going to drop to the Supersonic Sky Strike, and the Kingdra is so damaged at this point that it is not going to be able to take out the Tangrowth. It will just die to this Tangrowth, as you can see, unable to get the sweep there. The rain has a limited amount of time left now, so we are going to have to see him play around that, as he does go into his Swampert here, trying to take advantage of the last few turns of rain. But the Swampert is going to be walled by this Tangrowth. As you can see, that Ice Punch did nothing. The Regenerator is going to keep it healthy, as it's going to... the rain stops. It doesn't outspeed the Skuntank. The Aftermath coming to hurt it a little bit. The Tangrowth coming in. And it's just going downhill for Alec at this point. He definitely still has some Mons left that can definitely put in some work here. That Gyro Ball doing a ton of damage to Torn T, but this Regenerator Core is proving to be a tall order for him to break through with his Rain, since both of these Mons love the Rain. Tangrowth and Tornadus both being great Rain abusers, as well as just great Rain preventers. And Focus Blast landing, hitting the Ferrothorn is going to be sort of that nail in the coffin, as the Coco is not going to be able to finish everything off. Zygarde comes in. It takes this Dazzling Gleam really well, as Zygardes are wont to do, and it just fires off 1,000 arrows, and we're going to see this Zygarde just proceed to do what Zygardes do. I mean, honestly, in all honesty, in all fairness, Coco was clearly choiced, I believe, and I think it did have Hidden Power Ice. I think we saw it earlier. Maybe I'm crazy, but that Zygarde didn't get hit by the Hidden Power Ice. Maybe even had a Yachi Berry. Maybe that's what he was afraid of. Is going to Outrage here. Clearly not choiced in any way. Does outspeed the Swampert, and that is going to knock that out. And Zygarde's going to be there and pick up the 1-0 victory for the PCL. So we were unable to get that 7-0, but we were going to jump into the last game here, which is the game between Eon and his opponent from the PCL. This is the last game we are showcasing today, again, because of the fact that we only have 5 games here to show you. We have 2 games that were not shown. Manbird didn't even play. He got a forfeit win. And Beta did manage to win, but didn't remember to save his battle video. So we are without it, and I'm not a good enough person at Photoshop or Microsoft Paint to pretend to recreate it. So we're just going to show you what we got, and hopefully you guys understand that that's the case. Even with what we got, we are currently 3-1 in games that we have shown. So even if you guys think we're lying about having led this series, you can see that we're doing pretty well in the games that are being shown. Now, we are going to see this Jolteon get in on that Volt Switch from the Rotom. Not a ton of damage to recover, so I don't think Eon's going to stress too much about that. As the Celesteela comes in and Rotom continues to do exactly what Rotom Washes always do to Celesteelas. But the Water Absorb, Volt Absorb combo from his opponent is proving to be something of a nuisance here, as he can't seem to make these reads correctly as to which move to go for, whether he's going to try to hit the Jolteon or the Vaporeon, and since the other one doesn't hit it at all, he's really got to make those reads better with that Rotom every time it comes in on the Celesteela. However, Kyurem Black is in here and does take out the Nidoqueen, can't get a substitute up, and once again, guys, in our final battle of the night, we are going to see the Kyurem Black switch out, the Sylveon switch in, and lo and behold, what does Victini do? Fightinium Z, everybody. So we see Victini popping off a Fightinium Z here, just throwing it out there. Third one of the night in 5 battles, which is kind of insane. I mean, honestly, that ratio is just kind of crazy. Fighting Stab is great, though, and a lot of the best Mons in the format right now are Mons weak to fighting, whether they're Dark types, whether they're Ice types, just Mons that don't appreciate a big old fighting type attack. However, Sylveon does survive it. It is going to take a little bit of poison damage, and it does not outspeed Victini naturally, so that's just going to die the next turn. But hey, we saw Victinium Z once again. Victini's going to switch out into the Vaporeon, which makes the read once again correctly on the Hydro Pump versus Volt Switch. But Rotom, sticking to his guns, goes for another Hydro Pump and actually catches the Jolteon this time on the switch in. So does about 50% of that. Rocks are up. Kyurem Black goes down without getting a kill, which is always a good feeling for your opponent, but never a good feeling when you're the guy who's supposed to have the mon that goes 1 for 1 just about every time. So unfortunately for Eon, that's just the way it's going to go this time, as Rotom does finally go down to the Victini, and Eon is here with his Mew, which does have the Munium Z, which is legal in this season, and we are going to see this straight bop this Victini from the low HP it's got, set up that Psychic Terrain for the Mew, which shows the Flamethrower into the Celesteela, doing hefty damage here. And Crobat comes in, has the Heat Wave, takes out the Celesteela. Vaporeon comes in, and we see that it is Nasty Bat here. Does get burned by the Scald, but does show that it has Roost and is going to be able to survive some Scalds here. Waiting for, I'm not entirely sure what he's waiting for. Maybe he's gaining a little bit more HP than he's losing, but it's honestly like maybe 1. There's the Wish. The big misplay allows him to Nasty Plot a second time here and go for that Sludge Bomb, which immediately takes out the Vaporeon. He was pressuring with the Scald, but he just stopped pressuring at that point, and the Vaporeon just drops. As the Crobat now just shows the Sludge Bomb into that Mega Altaria, and that will do it. The Mega Altaria will go down. This Crobat will end up finishing out this game, and Eon will take the victory here. So in the battles shown, we won 4-1. In the battles overall, we did pick up 2 more wins, 1 in a forfeit and 1 in an unshown battle. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little abbreviated video week 4. Next week, we are going to be taking on the BRE, the Breedjecks, and they are undefeated right now, so we have our work cut out for us trying to take them down. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this little league war at the end of Generation 7's life cycle, and I will see you guys back here next week. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care, everybody.